Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege.
Senator Coleman.
Thank you, Madam President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Madam President. Members of the state of Colorado, the Senate and House of Representatives convened in the first session of the 75th General Assembly hereby extends heartiest congratulations and commendation to Denver International Airport. The members of the Colorado State Senate and the Colorado State House want to acknowledge the airport's iconic tinted terminal with 21 Teflon peaks is familiar around the globe. We are recognizing them for the 30th anniversary. Since it opened on February 28, 1995, it has served as Colorado's primary airport and as the region's largest economic engine, generating more than $36.4 billion annually and employing over 41,000 employees. Benefiting from the vision of statewide leaders and support of voters, Denver International Airport was built on 53 square miles with the ability to double in size from 6 to 12 runways. Over its 30 years of operations, Denver International Airport has served nearly 1.5 billion passengers and has become North America's third busiest airport as of last year. It is now preparing staff and facilities to serve a quickly approaching traffic level of 100 million annual passengers. The airport has used its growing global influence to demonstrate sustainable construction and operational practices. It has connected Colorado to the globe with its airlines offering more than 220 nonstop destinations. It is leading the way in developing a diverse workforce and local business partnerships through its Center of Equity and Excellence in Aviation. And throughout its continuous growth, Denver International Airport has prioritized the passenger experience with the Colorado flair, from featuring local cuisine in its concessions, volunteer ambassadors with cowboy hats, memorable events, and the world's largest airport therapy animal program. The airport has become one of Colorado's foremost promoters. For these reasons and more, we offer this recognition of Denver International Airport at the Colorado State Capitol in celebration of their 30th anniversary. And I am grateful, Madam President, to be joined by members of the Denver delegation. And if you all at the airport and also with the city will recognize you as well, but please stand and be recognized. Thank you so much for being here today.
Senator Coleman.
Madam President, moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Before I pass it over to the other good senators from Denver, I just wanted to share quickly that I was blessed to grow up 5 minutes away from the other airport, and before it moved out to where it is now. That was the noise that I listened to as I went to bed every night, along with the trains. That was my nighttime music. But I appreciated all the impact that the airport made. But I also specifically, during Black History Month, want to acknowledge specifically the CEO of the airport, Phil Washington. Phil, thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you for inspiring so many people, especially those of us in the African-American community, to reach the highest heights. And so thank you, and thank you also for the amazing swag. Everybody should have gotten a bag of M&Ms, and I appreciate our former Senate President, Steve Finberg, but I couldn't fit into a schmedium shirt. And so we got universal, we got socks for everybody. If you didn't get one, the airport provided socks back here where the media sits with the cameras if anybody would like one. So thank you all for the swag. We appreciate you.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam President. I request a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you, Madam President. I'd like to just join alongside President Coleman and my colleagues from the Denver delegation. We have a rogue.
You are.
He's kind of the good senator from Greenwood Village is somehow trying to
Wow.
join us, but that's okay. Let's really put the focus. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We always welcome the good senator from Greenwood Village because my family members are are his constituents, and so yeah. With that, I do want to acknowledge the incredible leadership that we have joining us here today. As part of Denver Day here at the Capitol. If you didn't have the opportunity this morning to grab some coffee and tamales from Convivio Cafe over at the Old Supreme Court, they're a small business in my district. Y'all missed out, that's okay. There might be still some, come find us. But I do really want to just acknowledge the incredible work of the council members who are here joining us today. I'd like to acknowledge at-large council member Serena Gonzalez Gutierrez. Y'all may remember her from her time in the House. I do want to also acknowledge and say thank you to council member Hines, council member, Paul Cashman, and council member, and my sister-in-law, council member Diana Romero Campbell. And I also want to say hello and welcome to council member Chantel Lewis. Thank you so much for being here as well. We are so incredibly grateful for the leadership that you demonstrate, the way in which you both lead with your values and also ensure representation. I want to thank members from the mayor's office, certainly former Mayor Adam Paul, Director of State and Regional Affairs for the mayor of the City and County of Denver. And then also, I just want to echo the appreciation and commendation for the entire team at the Denver Airport. Thank you so much for all of the work that you do. And in these incredibly trying times, knowing that we are leading with both our hearts and our minds makes us all so proud. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Madam President.
We'll take a senatorial 5 to greet our guests.
let's not. Let's just. No, that's not true. I want to honor reading. This is Kit's favorite toy is a book.
Yeah, where is everyone?
All the
Mr.
Democrats-
Schaffler, please excuse Senator Cutter.
No, but we're
Please
all here.
excuse Senator Henriksen. And please excuse Senator Michelson Janae.
Where did they go? Yeah. I'm just going to move to proceed. I'm going to move to proceed out of order. Yeah.
Senator Bridges,
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of resolutions.
you heard the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will proceed out of order to take up consideration of resolutions.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
Consideration of resolutions. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of SJR 007.
Senate Joint Resolution 007 by Senators Bridges and Kirkmeyer and Representatives Sirota and Taggart concerning proclaiming February 14th as Colorado Read to Your Child Day.
Senator Bridges,
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Joint Resolution 007 and ask that it be read at length
Mr. Schaffler, please read James Bond 007 at length.
for the kids.
For the kids.
Whereas the most important activity for setting the foundation for future literacy success is reading aloud to children, and whereas strong literacy skills are essential for the development and growth of a community and our nation, and the ability to read by third grade is critical to a child's ability to learn in the future, and whereas children who struggle with literacy are more likely to eventually drop out of school without earning their high school diploma, have poor health, and struggle to acquire a living wage as an adult, and whereas a child's early years play a pivotal role in literacy, as 90% of a child's brain has developed by age 5, and skills learned between birth and age 5 predict literacy in later years, and whereas children who struggle with literacy in kindergarten through third grade are unlikely to catch up to their peers, and whereas when children are read to aloud from birth, they are exposed to significantly more words in their early years, improving their vocabulary, comprehension, and literacy skills, and increasing overall brain development. And whereas children who experience this early exposure to books and have access to home libraries develop stronger language skills by the time they start school and are more likely to develop a lasting interest in reading and learning. And whereas when caregivers or loved ones read to children regularly, they build nurturing bonds that are vital for the child's cognitive and social emotional health. Reading together provides positive attention from caring adults and creates a sense of security while reducing stress and the negative impacts of adverse childhood experiences. And whereas more than 30 years of research demonstrates that reading aloud to a child accelerates development and boosts overall kindergarten readiness, evidence also indicates that when children enter school with the developmental skills and foundation to succeed, the results of this early intervention last a lifetime. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate of the 75th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we, the members of the General Assembly, declare the state's commitment to birth to age 5 early literacy by acknowledging February 14, 2025 as Colorado Read to Your Child Day in alignment with National Read to Your Child Day. Be it further resolved that copies of this joint resolution be sent to the Reach Out and Read Colorado and Imagination Library of Colorado organizations.
Senator Bridges,
Thank you, Mr. President. Every kid deserves the chance to succeed no matter where they come from. And we know that the most impactful dollar that we can spend in a child's life is on the early end. And early childhood literacy dramatically increases kindergarten readiness. It increases third grade reading. When you read to your kids, those neurons are firing and they're getting ready to go to school. And the data shows, and this is weird, but the data shows just reading to your kid improves their math scores. Read to your kids. It helps their brain grow. It helps them emotionally with attachment. There are so many good things that come from reading to your kids. And we have today Imagination Library and Reach Out and Read. And the combination of these two forces is unmatched. On the one hand, with Reach Out and Read, we've got doctors writing prescriptions to parents to read to their kids. To say, this is important, this is going to change your kid's life, do this, here's a book. Oh, and by the way, we've got Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, too. How about we give your kid a book in the mail every month? sign up here for Dolly Parton's Imagination Library. The combination of these two forces is game-changing in Colorado, and it's pennies on the dollar considering how much we spend on the READ Act, how much we spend on pre-K, on kindergarten. For a minuscule investment by comparison, we are supercharging Colorado kids early on in their educational journey. And you know, my son, Kit, his favorite toy is a book. He can't get enough of books, and it's been that way since, I think, before he really understood even what a book was. He is attracted to them, thankfully. We read to him every day, and frankly, because of the work I've done on this issue, I know that reading to him every day, sort of whether or not he understands the words, helps build those neurons, helps improve his outcomes. And so thank you for the education I've received about the importance of of reading to your kids, and thank you so much for the work that you do to make sure that parents across the state, not just the ones sponsoring resolutions and bills, understand the importance of reading to their kid every day.
And really quickly, before Senator Kirkmeyer, I think you might have, but Senator Bridges, if you wouldn't mind, just to be sure, can you move SJR 007?
Thank you, Mr. President. I believe I did move SJR 007 and ask that be read at length, but once again, just to be sure, I move SJR 25-007.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am so happy to be here with my good friend and the great senator from Greenwood Village
Who
today.
represents Denver.
Who does represent Denver apparently, and he's a little upset right now. So, but I'm happy to be here with him and be able to sponsor this resolution. My first year at being a state senator, I was on the Education Committee with Senator Bridges, Senator Lundeen, Senator Zenzinger, and Senator Buckner, and a couple of others. And I learned in that committee this phrase: we need to teach them to learn to read by the 3rd grade, because after the 3rd grade, they read to learn. It is so true. I was very fortunate as a young child. My grandmother lived with us, and she was an elementary school teacher. And I was her favorite, of course, out of 7 siblings. But literally, after I would get done with my chores, we would sit down and just go through and read books and play games and do lots of things together, work on my penmanship, things of that nature. But that special time that I had with my grandmother of reading came forward as I have had grandchildren, and I spend all sorts of times with my grandchildren reading books to them. It is so important. My grandchildren, and several of them, were very young through the COVID years, and so they weren't able to go through and be in an education type system. So we spent a lot of time those summers and those days just reading books. And it doesn't matter the book that you read as long as you're reading the book. So it's okay if it's about the wimpy kid or about the dog or about, whatever, comic books, any kind of books, as long as you're reading. In fact, one of my grandsons loves to read cookbooks. Yeah, because he likes food, so it's pretty good. But so anyways, and I'm just going to tell another really important story, at least for me, about reading. When I come from a very modest background, but when I would we would go to the pediatrician in the doctor's office to get our shots. Remember those highlight books? I don't know if you all remember them, but
very well.
I think several of us probably remember those highlight books. And I remember in one of my times going to the pediatrician, and I had to get the shot, which is not the most fun thing to have to do, but they had a whole stack of highlight books that were old, and I got all of those. And it was like one of the best days ever for me. It was like Christmas, in September kind of thing. So reading to kids, reading with children is extremely important. It's extremely important, as you heard, to help their development as they get older. And again, we are just both really pleased to stand before you today and ask that all of you support us in acknowledging today as Colorado Read to Your Child Day or your Grandchild Day. Help us spread the awareness that reading to your children of all ages, at all ages, but especially birth through 5, is critical to their child development and fosters family bonds that will last a lifetime.
Senator Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'll turn it over. Before we do, I just wanted to acknowledge that we have folks from Imagination Library and Reach Out and Read here today. From Imagination Library, we got Jack and Laura, and then from Reach Out and Read, we got Patty, Amy, and Katie. Thank you for what you do for our kids.
Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you to the sponsors for bringing this. So my children have participated in Imagination Library, and I really want to thank the sponsors for bringing this, and thank you to Imagination Library. I think the thing that I've seen with it is it makes kids excited. My kids would run to the mailbox and get their book for the month and show it off, and it was theirs. And one of my favorite stories is that my daughter, Autumn Grace, my youngest, she's 6, so she just aged out because you can do this until you're 5. But she would get so excited, and we would run to the mailbox, and she struggles with her R's a little bit, and so she would say, "Thank you, Dolly Parton," and for these books, and I think it's just really exciting, and we would read the same book over and over every night for a month. And then we could get a new book, but it's a really important thing, and I think the biggest thing is obviously, there's some science behind it, and we want them to read, but I think one of the biggest things I saw with my children is that it made them excited to read, and it made them have something that they could be proud of and was theirs, and I think it was a really neat thing, and I'll take this opportunity to also thank Dolly Parton on the camera, because she is impacting a lot of children's lives, and it's a very neat thing to see. So thank you for being here.
Senator Pelton B.
Thank you, Mr. President. So my thing was Dr. Seuss. You used to get Dr. Seuss books in the mail when you were a kid. So I would read to my daughters every night the Sneetches. And they loved the Sneetches so much that yesterday they were doing their community service project for NHS, which was to read to the kids, the elementary school kids at the school, and to do a project that they both were fighting over which one was going to do the Sneetches book, because they loved it so much. So I read the Sneetches to them every night, and then they would also want to read the Pants, but the Pants always scared them in that book, but the Sneetches was their favorite story. So I appreciate you guys being here today. Dr. Seuss was a great author, and he really opened kids' imaginations, and I would agree, math scores improve. Both my daughters scored in the 96th percentile for mathematics. Yeah, even with me as the dad. Yeah, that's correct. So, so thank you for bringing this today.
Any further discussion? Seeing none. The motion is the adoption of SJR 007. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 30 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 5 excused, SJR 007 is adopted. Co-sponsors, Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the current roll call to be sponsors, co-sponsors.
Seeing no objection, the current roll call will be added as co-sponsors.
Thank you, colleagues.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Schaffler, please mark Senator Danielson excused. Members, we'd be remiss, I heard his name called out, but we do have a former senator in the building, so please join me in welcoming back to the chamber Senator Jack Tate. Welcome back, brother. Majority Leader Rodriguez. Third reading of bills. Proceed out of order for committee reports. Mr. Schaffler, please read the committee report.
Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 42 be amended as follows, and so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation and with the recommendation that it be placed on the consent calendar. Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 33 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 37 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 45 be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Appropriations, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 24 be amended as follows, and as so amended be referred to the Committee of the Whole with favorable recommendation.
Special orders, second reading of the bills, consent calendar. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate take up Senate Bill 42 on special orders consent calendar at the hour of 11:52. 10:52.
The motion
I saw
is
the
that the
11.
Senate take up Senate Bill 25042 on special orders consent at the hour of 10:52. This requires a two-thirds vote. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will take up Senate Bill 25042 on special orders consent at the hour of 10:52. Majority Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Before we run into that, we'd like to take a senatorial 5 so the special orders can be passed out as they're being done right now.
Granted, we will take a senatorial 5. Special orders, second reading of the bills, consent calendar. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of second reading of bills consent calendar. Special orders, second reading of bills consent calendar.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion is adopted, and the Senate will resolve itself in Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of the bills consent calendar, and Senator Weissman will take the chair.
Committee will come to order. Court rule is relaxed. Senatorial 5.
All spread.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
I'm here.
Mr. Majority Leader, go ahead.
Back up. I didn't hear the mic, so I just want to make sure.
Okay, sorry, there we go. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the passage of the bill on second reading of Bill's consent calendar, which is Senate Bill 42 and its accompanying Health and Human Services report and the appropriation report.
Mr. Schaaf, would please read the title to the bill on the consent calendar?
Senate Bill 42 by Senators Cutter and Amabile and Representative Bradfield concerning measures to address Colorado's behavioral health crisis response.
Thank you. Members, the item under discussion is any of the committee reports on the bill on the consent calendar. Is there discussion on any of the committee reports? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the committee reports for the bill on the consent calendar. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The committee reports are adopted. We are now to the bill on the consent calendar. That is Senate Bill 42. Is there any discussion on the bill on the consent calendar? Senator Rich.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This seems like a duplicate type of program. And when you do a quick anatomy of solving a problem in Colorado, it's identify the problem, create a program, create a working group to study the program, and repeat. This also has a fiscal note of $607,000 in fiscal year 25-26 and $50,000 in 26-27 in future years, which is an exorbitant amount to spend on duplicate measures when the state is already in an over $700 million budget shortfall. Members of the JBC have made it clear that any bill with a fiscal impact is dead upon arrival. I don't know why that's not happening, because this kind of money adds to the shortfall. Trimming the fat from the state's bloated budget is more than just a talking point. It's a moral imperative. I ask for no vote.
Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So just to be very clear, we ran amendments in committee and then again today in appropriations that brought the fiscal note down to 0. All we are doing is conducting a one-day stakeholder meeting so that relevant parties can get together on Zoom and talk about the programs that they offer in their area, what's working, what isn't. That costs the state nothing. And the other thing that the bill does is it codifies in law a new Medicaid waiver that we got last year, and then asks hospitals to avail themselves of that waiver. That also does not drive a fiscal note on this bill. So the bill has a 0 fiscal note. It just got out of appropriations today with a 0 fiscal note. And let me just say, nothing is moving through without a 0 impact, general fund impact. Thank you.
Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, everyone. So we heard this bill in Health and Human Services, and I too was skeptical because of the fiscal note. One thing that I think that is important is we have different ways of dealing with behavioral health issues all around the state of Colorado. In my community in Douglas County, we have community response teams. That was something that was piloted, gosh, I think almost 10 years ago by our Human Services Department combined with the Sheriff's Office. And what that has done is it's a program that's actually grown and done amazing work. So you have a sheriff's officer, you have a mental health clinician, you have someone who can provide health care. And this keeps people out of jails. It keeps people out of the hospitals sometimes, and has been a very, very effective thing in Douglas County and other jurisdictions. So this idea of having this meeting, this task, it's not a task force, it's a meeting, stakeholder meeting, thank you. Just lost for words there. The idea of getting together on a statewide basis to share information on best practices is, I think it's a good idea. I did vote yes on this bill, and I will be a yes today as well. But I think that we've got a lot of tools in the toolbox. We need more. I don't know that anybody's gotten it perfect, but to share information and what is working in communities with those that don't have programs in place, that's got merit to me when we are having such a mental health crisis. So thank you very much for your attention.
Is there further discussion? Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sorry I wasn't in the well, but the good senator from Logan County was in my way. Anyways, I just want to say thank you to the good senator from Grand Junction. Appreciate your budget hawkishness, if that's a word, looking at all the fiscal notes and keeping us all in check, because it is extremely important. And I know that the good senator from Boulder County and I had this discussion about the bill. My first question on every bill is there a fiscal note? So appreciate that you're helping us and looking at this. And quite frankly, it would be great if everybody could assist, because we all need to look at those fiscal notes, try and not have fiscal notes, or just quite frankly, maybe not have the bill. So, but thank you very much. Appreciate your looking into it and keeping us in check.
Is there further discussion on the bill on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of all the bills on the consent calendar. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the bills on the consent calendar are adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Members, the question is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. We will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and has had one bill under consideration. On the consent calendar, will Mr. Schaffler please read the report?
February 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 42, as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 29 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 6 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 42 is amended, passed on second reading, ordered and engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Third reading of bills, Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the third reading of bills calendar lay over until Tuesday, February 18th, 2025.
The motion is to lay over the third reading of bills calendar to Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the third reading calendar will be laid over until February 18th, 2025. Second reading of bills, consent calendar. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general orders. Second reading of bills, consent calendar.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The motion is adopted and Senate resolve itself Committee of the Whole for special order second reading of bills, consent calendar. And Senator Weissman will take the chair.
Committee will come to order. Code rule is relaxed. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the passage of the bills on general order, second reading of bills consent calendar and the accompanying committee reports. Senate Bill 28 and the Finance Committee report, and Senate Bill 36.
Thank you. Mr. Schaffler, please read the titles to the bills on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 28 by Senator Kolker and Representative Hamrick and Taggart concerning a requirement that the Public Employees Retirement Association implement certain risk reduction measures. Senate Bill 36 by Senator
All right, thank you. Members, the question is the adoption of the committee reports to the bills on the consent calendar. Is there any discussion on any of the committee reports? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the committee reports. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. The committee reports are adopted. Next question is the adoption of the bills on the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the adoption of the bills on the consent calendar, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no.
No.
The ayes have it. The bills on the consent calendar are adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Members, the question is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and has had a couple of bills under consideration. Mr. Schaffler, kindly read the report.
February 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills and being the second reading thereof and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 28 as amended. Senate Bill 36 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adopt the report of the committee of the whole.
The motion is adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 29 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 6 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 28 is amended. Senate Bill 36 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. General orders, second reading of bills. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. And the motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself in committee of the whole for consideration of general orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Weissman will take the chair.
Committee will come to order. Code rules relaxed. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 63 until Tuesday, February 18th.
All right, members, the motion is to lay over Senate Bill 63 as specified by the Majority Leader. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and Senate Bill 63 will lay over as indicated. Mr. Schaffler. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1058.
House Bill 1058 by Representatives Bradfield and Senators Michelson, Genet, and Amabile concerning modifications to the affirmative defense of not guilty by reason of insanity.
Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill came out of the Legislative Oversight Committee concerning the treatment of persons with behavioral health disorders in the criminal and juvenile justice systems, which has the distinction of having the longest committee name of any committee. The committee has a task force of over 30 experts from different aspects of this intersection between mental health and criminal justice. This bill is primarily a cleanup bill. So it takes out antiquated language. The statute throughout uses he and him with no, I guess they didn't think that anybody who was a she or her might have an insanity defense, but it turns out they do. So it does stuff like that. It does change one thing, which is if you're having a sanity examination, it prohibits you from being dressed in prison or jail clothing and allows you to appear on video in normal clothing. And if you are shackled, the shackles have to be hidden from view from the camera so that a jury isn't biased against you by that. It also disallows medically invalid practices which have not been used in years, such as narcoanalytic truth serum and polygraph tests as methods for testing insanity. And that's really all it does. It's a very simple bill, but it's important that we make sure the statute is up to date and that we are treating people with humanity. And I ask for a yes vote.
Thank you, Senator. Before you leave the well, I need to ask you to use the magic four-letter word beginning with the letter M.
I'm sorry?
I need to ask you to move the bill.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, this is my first time here in the Senate, so I'd like to move House Bill 251058, and I don't believe there were any committee reports.
All right, thank you. Properly moved. Senator Carson.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do want to note that I opposed this bill in the Judiciary Committee. I don't think it's a necessary change. I think it's overly defendant-centric, and it sends a message to the public and to victims out there that I don't approve of. So I did vote against it.
All right, is there further discussion on House Bill 1058? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1058. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. 1058 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, kindly read the title of Senate Bill 67.
Senate Bill 67 by Senators Simpson and Roberts and Representatives Martinez and Winter concerning changes to the Prosecution Fellowship Program.
Thank you. Senator Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 67, and there is no committee report.
To the bill.
A pretty interesting bill for rural constituents and modifying an existing rural district attorney fellowship program that my good co-sponsor, the senator from Frisco, was actually a participant and a product of the fellowship program. Had good conversation in committee and a good step forward to improve outcomes in rural Colorado.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the good Senator for Alamosa for his leadership on this issue. As he knows well in his area, and I know from mine, that rural district attorneys' offices are struggling very much to hire attorneys and retain attorneys. And what this bill proposes to do is take an existing fund, an existing program, and make some modifications to help modernize it and make it more useful for those offices across rural Colorado. And would appreciate your support.
All right, thank you. Is there further discussion on Senate Bill 67? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of Senate Bill 67. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 67 is adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report. Oh, wait, sorry. I'm not used to, we don't read the bill.
Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 4 until Tuesday, February 18th.
Members, the motion is to lay over Senate Bill 4 until Tuesday the 18th. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and Senate Bill 4 will lay over. Now, Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Now I renew my motion for the committee rise and report.
Members, the motion is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The committee will rise and report.
Senate will come to order. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee has met and had several bills under consideration. Mr. Schaffler, kindly read the report.
February 14, 2025. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following attached bills, being the second reading thereof, and makes the following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 67 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1058 passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 63, Senate Bill 4 laid over until February 18th and retaining their place on the calendar.
Senator Weissman.
Thank you. I move the Senate adopt the report of the committee of the whole.
The motion is the adoption of the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 29 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 6 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 67 passed on second reading and order engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1058 passed on second reading and order revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 63 and Senate Bill 4 laid over until 2/18/2025, retaining their place on the calendar. Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to Senate Bill 105.
Senate Bill 105 by Senator Bridges and Representative Byrd concerning a supplemental appropriation to the Department of Public Safety.
Majority Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over the consideration of House amendments to Senate bills, Senate Bill 105, until Tuesday, February 18th.
The motion is to lay over the consideration of House amendments to Senate bills, Senate Bill 105 to Tuesday, February 18th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we will lay over the consideration of House amendments to Senate bills, Senate Bill 105 to Tuesday, February 18th. Governor's appointments. Consideration of governor's appointments consent calendar. Will the clerk Senate 205, 4RIT. Consideration of governor's appointments, consent calendar. Mr. Schaffler, please read the appointments listed on the consent calendar.
Members of the Board of Trustees for the University of Northern Colorado, effective January 1st, 2025, for terms expiring December 31st, 2028. Brenda Campos Spitz of Greeley, Colorado, to serve as a Democrat, reappointed. Richard Lee Monfort of Greeley, Colorado, to serve as a Republican, reappointed.
Mr. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you.
With a vote of 29 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 6 excused, those appointments are confirmed. Announcements. Announcements.
Of our newest county commissioner. He'd been elected on January 18th, well, sworn in on January 18th and passed away last Saturday. He was a top-notch guy, one of those people that you're proud to know that served that community for his whole career. He served 3 terms as our sheriff, and then he retired and went fishing in Alaska and all the things that we think we're going to do. Came home, realized that Montrose County was needing some more leadership, and he ran for that office and won. He was a friend to me, and he was a friend to the community, and I wanted to please ask for a moment of silence, and if you would ring the chimes.
We will take a moment of silence, and the chimes will be rung.
thank you, colleagues. That meant a lot to all of them, I'm sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Catlin. Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask for a moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Okay, thank you. One of the staffers here in the Capitol asked me to bring this to all of your attention today. A young woman is gone missing from University of Colorado. Her name is Megan Trussell. She was last seen at 9:45 on Sunday and is still missing, and her family is obviously completely out of their minds. And so I have these flyers, and if anybody wants to just take a look at what she looks like, if you have information, please call 911 or the Boulder Police, and I have their phone number here. And our staff person, this is their niece who is missing, and for those of us who are parents, to imagine your child off at college and have them disappear is one of the most nightmare scenarios I can imagine. So thank you all.
Thank you, Senator Amabile. Senator Pelton R.
Thank you, Mr. President. We won't be here Monday, so I can't announce it Monday, but next Tuesday morning, we have our weekly Bible study down in room 0109 at 7:15 in the morning. Come feed your soul, and we'll feed your belly at the same time.
Senator Pelton R.
Thank you, Mr. President. May I ask for a moment of personal privilege?
Granted.
Thank you. Last night, got a couple that's good friends of ours. They're up here enjoying the time at the watching state wrestling. Their car was stolen. They're from Ray, 3 hours away, and this city treats them with getting their car stolen. So we really need to crack down on crime in this state and in this city. So just want to let people know that we come to the city and we get vandalized too. So thank you.
Thank you, Senator Pelton R. Mr. Nope. Any other announcements? Seeing none, the greatest majority leader of all time, the majority leader from Denver, the majority leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, reminder, the Senate will be closed on Monday. We will convene at 10 a.m. on Tuesday, February 18th, following President's Day. Those of you who are thinking of working in the Capitol on Monday, the water will be shut off for repairs from 6 to 12, so please plan accordingly and bring your own water. Members, we're going to recess because we have to read some bills across the desk, so Mr. President, I move that the Senate recess until 12 p.m. today.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and whoever voted no will stay, but the rest of us will stand in recess until 12 p.m.